Obviously, a great win for our program. Very, very appreciative of our fans. It was a great night for them. They're unbelievable. But also extremely appreciative of my father and Iona to come play this game. He did not need to do it. He was trying to help out his son. And that goes a long, long way with everybody when we can fill this thing up again. So very grateful. We made some big plays down the stretch. Jalen House did. Morris with a great pass out of the post to Javante. We needed to rebound the ball better, but I thought our guards made some really big plays down the stretch. So, great win. I mean, sitting here at 11-0, I thought we'd be improved. I didn't know if I thought we'd be sitting like this, but it was a great win because Iona's going to win a lot of games.
You already mentioned the pass for Morris. I wanted to. He hasn't passed out of the double team a whole lot this year. He did at San Francisco for a big three late in the second half, and he did tonight.
You named it. Those are the two. I think they are. It was a great play. I'm not sure what it put us up, but it was a big. Javante had a great dive to the basket. We thought they'd play zone. I didn't think they'd play as much zone as they did. But we were doing a good job of reading kind of what they were giving us and being patient down the stretch. We tend to play a little bit fast at times. But that was, it was just a great game. Iona fought back. That's a team that's going to win like 25 games. They're terrific. That's the best Iona team he's had since he's been there for sure.
You already mentioned that they played zone, and you guys kind of anticipated that a little bit, which is unique because they don't play much zone ever. He said yesterday he wasn't going to press. They pressed almost the whole game. He said Tuesday night Quinn wasn't going to play. He was out 2 more weeks, and you tweeted right away, I know he's playing now. How much of the gamesmanship was still in the opposing coach tonight?
Well, I would say being his son, I knew he'd play some zone because he hadn't played any. And, working for him, he always has his own in his back pocket. When I was watching the Princeton game and he knew I was watching and he said that, I go, all right, they're playing. Those guys are playing. And I called it there. So that was intentional on his part. But I tell you what, like Solinsky's just an absolute warrior. So I don't know if it was gamesmanship as much as he was intentionally messing with me because he knew I would sniff that one out.
How did you talk about KJ now from that experience?
We continue to grow. I think you look at some of the wins that we've had, whether it's at SMU, at St. Mary's, San Francisco on a neutral court, and now this one. We got to learn from it. I think when you watch Iona, the way that they compete, you learn a lot because they are tough to the ball, offensive rebound. They never quit. So we needed to keep our poise. It was a 17-point game when Josiah got that technical. But you know what? It's hard, man, when you're playing in this building and you got that energy. It's as good of a home court as I've ever been a part of. But we can learn a lot. That's a program like San Fran and like St. Mary's who has been where we want to be. So you got to learn from winning.
Coach, could you just talk about the good minutes that KJ gave you when he came in and kind of helped build that double-digit lead there?
Terrific. Yeah, that was his best game of the year. He had a little bit of a thumb deal. Wasn't sure how good he would be, but he had a bunch of family in town. He's like, I'm gutting it out, Coach. So he was great. I thought Sebastian was great off the bench with the minutes he gave us. He played hard. And then Donovan obviously continues to be good off the bench. So we need those guys. We got to be a versatile team. Every game is kind of a story in itself, and you never know what's going to happen, and everybody's got to be ready to go.
And now that you've won this game, coaches against their dads, sons against their dads, coaching in Division I. Now it's dads now 19 wins, and the sons 2 now. You got the second one.
Well, the dads normally have better jobs, but at the end of the day, I said all week, it's not about me. And it wasn't about me. You can't make it, especially with the non-conference that we've had. I tell all of our players, don't make it about yourself. So I give them the game plan to the best of my ability. I try to help them out throughout the course of the week preparing as well as through the game. So it's not about beating my dad. I'm lucky that my dad would play here because we benefited. That's a nationally televised game. He did not need to play. That's 14,500. That's huge. So, happy we won. I don't look at it like I beat him. I look at it like New Mexico beat Iona.
Coach, you said you have to learn from winning. I mean, you guys are undefeated right now. You have Prairie View next, and then you guys hop into conference play. And the Mountain West is pretty good this year. I mean, how do you start preparing for getting into that?
One day at a time. We'll get back. I mean, that was a war. We won't practice real long tomorrow, and we'll give them the game plan for Prairie View. That's kind of what we look at, and then it'll be great to get everybody away to their families for Christmas, and then get them back, get to work. So, I mean, the good part about these guys is they work hard, they love basketball, and they're growing as a team too. So we just evaluate this one and get back to work tomorrow.
Prairie View is so close away. I mean, just after such an emotional win tonight, I mean, how quickly can you set that reset button going into,
Starting tomorrow, that's what we'll do. I mean, that's the tone from the top down. Is we don't get too high, we don't get too low. We are very, very appreciative of our fans. We're very appreciative that we were able to play on national TV against a great opponent. But you move on. So we'll clean up Iona, and then we'll go to work.
Coach, everything that you've talked about, from the atmosphere to just the way you guys played, I mean, you have you kind of set out for when you're rebuilding a program what you want it to look like. I mean, what does this say about the program rebuild that you've been talking about since day one?
It's happening a lot faster than I thought. Year one's really hard. You got to see what you got, and I thought we did a really good job of building kind of what our foundational beliefs are going to be. We were able to return the right pieces, retain them, because that's not easy anymore, and then add some really good ones in the fall to go along with or the spring, and then obviously with Donovan and Braden and Quentin. So we're lucky to have guys like Mash and KJ and House and Morris and Josiah. I mean, those guys they're culture guys. So obviously going from 303 in the net to top 20, pretty darn good. But we're not gonna. We're not going to embrace too much of it. We're just going to move on.
Coach, apparently during the broadcast, your son was saying some stuff. He was sort of cheering on the Lobos. So what can you say about him and just kind of him seeing this rivalry between his dad and his grandpa?
Well, it's when you, in this profession, get fired and you have to go to your family and tell them you're moving. And they have close friends, and they're lived there for 8 years, and we loved living in Minnesota. And you got to tell these kids they're moving. It's hard, really hard. So to have the beauty of Albuquerque is everyone goes to the games. Everyone they're like, see you at the game. All your friends, everybody. And to be able to have your kids, not just Jack, but Ava, Zoe, be a part of it, it's awesome, because there's a lot of tears when you move, a lot. And to see the joy and the smile on their faces is great. It's really rewarding as a father. He does need to know we are going to lose, hopefully not soon. And he also needs to know that the student section trash talking can't carry over to third grade basketball. We've had a couple issues there as well.
I hate to switch moods a little bit, but you guys won, so it doesn't really matter. But 14 offensive rebounds, 18 second chance points. Those numbers, 18-1 on second chance points total. Those numbers, obviously, you can't be too happy with. There's something special they were doing.
They were just crashing. They're big. They're big. That's a very big team, and we weren't hitting bodies, and that was clearly why they got back into the game. And we went small because we were trying to attack their zone. But give them credit. That was more a relentlessness on them, and we just got to be a little bit more physical.
They did shoot 3 for 24 from 3, so there were a lot of long rebounds. But for the most part, you think it was just them crashing. It wasn't.
I think it was long rebounds, not quick to the ball. Fatigue. I think Iona, that's what they do. Like, when a shot goes up, they're going to crash. That's what they do.
Time for one more with Coach.
How much fun has this ride been, Coach?
A lot of fun. A lot of fun. It's as I said before, like, the reason why I came here is the fans. You can just tell that the community cares about basketball. They need to understand we're probably not going to win the national championship. We got a chance, but we just got to continue to build. But the support that they give us, it's why players want to come here. And it's you see it on national TV. We'll be texting our recruits tonight, telling them, "Did you see that?" It could be special, and it's been obviously fun. To losing sucks. So 11-0 is great.
Jeff has one last one.
Two more.
Okay.
What did the crowd literally do tonight that impressed you?
Well, I just thought their energy just from the start, getting here early, creating that game day environment. They've got a great basketball IQ. They hate the refs. I've never seen a fan base that hates the refs more in my life. But it's again like if we want to get back to where we're trying to be, it will be because of them. And if they continue to come to these games, the recruits see it, the players talk about it. That community motivation is big.
A year ago, your dad was here, and you guys lost, and you dropped him off at the airport without dinner. You going to buy him dinner tonight?
I don't know if he wants to go to dinner, but I'm supposed to take him to dinner. I think you got to give him a little grace period because he's not great right away after games. But yeah, we'll get together. I mean, it is great because when you live far away from all your family, it's great that they could all somewhat. A couple of them had some kids with illnesses and so on. But as I said before, I am extremely appreciative that he played this game. He did not need to do this. And you saw the community. They owe him a debt of gratitude, obviously, for playing it because not a lot of people want to do that. So really grateful. And hopefully I can buy him a meal.